Yeah, so we are starting now.
Let's start.
Yes, it's starting now. Okay, so we are live now.
Okay, awesome.
Yep. I don't know how to move this as I told you, but it's okay. So here we are. Well, guys, if you're getting into this live, let's give it some minutes, and it's going to be okay. Doesn't
Mm,
matter.
Let me share a story and say that we are live.
Okay,
And I
that's
don't know
that's
how to
amazing.
share a screen though. Share a link.
Oh yeah, I can show you if you want to. In the story, there's let me see. So guys, if
What's
you're there
happening now?
while we start, if you're there, can you please let me know if you can hear us both just before we start? Let me see.
Can you share a link on the Instagram's story?
Yeah, you can share it. You can just let me see how I can teach you. We are live and we're teaching. So in the upper part, I'm going to show you.
Wait. Let me get that.
In the upper part, you can see these stickers, right?
I set out to your story and then let me. Okay, where?
In the upper part of the story, let me
Okay,
see.
yeah.
You can see like this sticker. This is sticker. I don't know if you can like.
No, I don't have that.
No, like this sticker. So if
No,
you get there,
I don't get that link. Okay, it says draw label AI. No, I don't have that.
something like that.
Maybe yours is because it's a business account or something.
And no, this is my personal one. I'm showing you from my
Oh,
personal one.
really?
And it says like share link actually.
No, I don't have
Link.
that, unfortunately.
And you have something like that like
No, I don't get that.
so I okay. It's okay.
I
Let me
can
see.
add location. I can add mentions, but there's no such a thing in my on my account. Yeah, well, whatever. I just say that we are live now.
Okay.
Let me just make a story here.
Yeah, I can let me see. I can show you. Yeah, my girlfriend says I'm not looking good. I'm not looking fine in the live, but I don't know how to put it in this moment. I don't know. It was
It's okay. Okay, let's just share a story and say we are live now. It's okay.
okay.
We are live now.
Cool.
There you go.
Not sure how to do this. Okay.
There you go. I have added it to my story.
Let me see. I'll put it again as well. Let's see with the link. I can put the link here. Let me see here. Okay, so I'll put it here and I will tag you and you can share and that's great. hmm Got it. I put it with the link so you can share if you want to. Yeah, so we have here Alessandro Nucci. Alessandro, hello. Maria Paula, my girlfriend. It sounds great. I cannot see it. My camera is not looking good, but okay. I don't know how to.
That looks fine to me.
Okay, now I am big, but okay, doesn't matter. So, guys, it's time. We can start now. So, first of all, I want to say hello to all of you guys. Thank you very much for joining us in this live session with Majid Smiley. I am really, really happy to have you here. This is the Crad Live number 72, 73, and I'm so happy here. To be honest, Majid, you're my one of my biggest inspirations when I started. So it's been a pleasure to have you accepting this invitation. So now, thank you very much, Majid, and welcome to this Crad Live, man.
Yeah, sure. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you so much for your kind words. Hopefully, it's going to help people who are interested to learn um, like more about the like we can share experience with people who are interested to break into the industry and to want to learn from experienced artists.
Awesome, man. That's awesome. First of all, everything that in every interview, what I do at the beginning is like, if some people don't know who you are, maybe you can start with a brief resume or a brief explanation of who you are, so people can understand who this artist is.
Yeah, sure. My name is Majid Smiley. I've been working in the CG industry for more than 15 years. Uh, I am from Iran. I started working as a freelancer here from Iran, and then I got invitation from studios and started working for studios in United States. I have worked for a lot of major studios for instance Blur Studio, Digic Pictures, for like a lot of like famous studios that people love to work with. I've worked for a lot of different types of fields, for toys. I've worked for cinematics, for movies, for a game, and yeah, I don't know what else to say.
No, that's amazing, man. That's amazing. And yeah, I want to start from the beginning, man. When did you decided that you wanted to work in this industry, in the CG industry? How did you decide it?
Well,
Like,
yeah, well, that's not something that I have that I made decision for it, because back in time, I was living in Iran, and like it was just a dream for me, but I didn't plan for it. I was working for advertising for a lot of like simple 2D stuff, like making 2D prints with my brother, working like on 2D layouts for books, working for magazines and stuff, and like those kind of stuff. It was mostly like about Photoshop and Adobe Illustration, and back in a day with the Macromedia Flash and Macromedia Director, and I was making like a life out of those stuff. And then slowly I started working with 3D softwares to like make better objects for those works. And then slowly I got familiar with the 3D world. However, like I was a big fan of like games like Mortal Kombat and like all those like old school games, and I really wanted to know like how people make those stuff. And slowly the internet back in the day was not like now. There was just if you Noman tutorials with Alex Alvarez, which like they were very basic and very random. Like they were I've watched almost all of them. It was about dynamics, about fluid. I had no idea what I'm doing, because there was no such a thing called like character artist tutorial, or like a clear path for artists in this industry. So I watched whatever like was coming out. I was trying to learn them and watch them, and I started to get active on some communities like the CG Society, and the Zebra Central was back in the day. It was amazing. um, and slowly I found my path. I got some offers from some studios to work as freelance for them. I started with doing some toys sculptures for some studios in Canada and US and Europe, and then slowly got familiar with this industry, and that's how it happens. It was like there's no clear border between like where I broke into the industry. But it happens like very naturally and slowly.
Cool, man. But so you were working in 2D in Photoshop, Illustrator. So
Yeah.
before that, when you were a kid, when you were growing up, you always wanted to be an artist, something like that, or it also happened like by chance.
Yeah, to be honest, I love to be an artist, but like I said, I didn't have any like clear plan for it, you know. So it just happens, you know. It's like I think you have to be very lucky to work in a field that you love to like and that you enjoy it, you know. So like every other person in the world, you know, I was young and I had a lot of plans in my head. I wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to be a doctor, you know. Yeah, but I loved art at the same time. I was keep drawing, you know. I was copying art, you know. I was copying uh, portraits and my artworks back in the day. Like sometimes I have shared some of them on my Instagram's story. Some of them like when I was 13, 14, still they look good, you know. But they are like I don't like when I look at them, I understand that I was just copying them. You know, I didn't have any knowledge, and I didn't have. I wasn't aware of the science behind it. You know, I wish there was some sort of like a guide, like a teacher or somebody to guide me through to say, hey, you know what, this is the path, and you can be a professional like if you just follow these like orders. You know, but anyways, I loved art, and I didn't have any like clear plan. It just happened on its own, you know.
Awesome, man. That's great. That's great. And how was it? How was it to start in the industry, as we were talking before,
Yeah,
uh, in the country that you were born, in Iran? How was that? I mean, how did you get the information, for example, from Nomon workshops? For example, in
yeah,
Colombia, they get here like super late.
yeah,
So internet in that moment, you said 15 years ago, wasn't like a thing. So it
yeah,
was hard.
exactly.
It was hard to get them. So I don't know how was in Iran. How was that moment for you?
Yeah, well, getting access to internet at the time was super slow. I was using dial-up and like sometimes downloading just one back in the time was CDs, you know, just one CD of no one was taking me a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you know, to download only one video
Yeah,
tutorial. And when you were downloading it, it was about like Floyd, and I had no idea what this guy was saying, you know, because no one started by Alex Alvarez, which was amazing, you know, but what he was teaching was about everything, and because I wasn't like familiar with what planning to do, so I was like learning each sections, you know, very randomly. And even now, like getting access to the internet from Iran is very slow, and there's a lot of like restrictions because I believe that as an Iranian, like we face like more challenges than other countries because you know we are under sanctions. We are facing problems because of like political stuff that I don't want to get into. Like there's some restrictions from both sides. You know, there's some websites that you don't have the right to get access to from here, and there's some websites that they don't let us get access to from the other side. Like even like our I believe even our decision is the same, you know, when you try to get access, hey, you know, you're from a restricted country, you're not allowed to get into it, so you have to use VPN that makes it slower, you know. So overall, like getting into the industry with all these limitations makes it harder, you know. But I personally believe like when things get harder, if you face them and if you like make it through those challenges, it makes you stronger, you know. You become a stronger person, you know. You learn how to manage the limitations and get through them.
awesome, man. Yeah, that's. Let me put me here so people can see me. Just for me, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, I agree with you a lot, a lot. I think that in Latin America, it's not the same problem because we don't have like the restrictions that you can have there. But also, I think that to get there, to get out there, we need to work twice as hard as other people. That's what we believe here, and that's what I think. When you say that, that's what makes us stronger. It's true, man. It's true. I have talked to a lot of artists here in Colombia and Latin America, and they say like when they jump into the industry, the companies love them because they work hard, you know, because we are used to hard work. We are used to like working and working and working, don't sleep, just work, 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 just to get there, just to learn. Because as you said, like it's not easy for us to learn because we don't have like the studies and all the academies that other people have. So we need to do it like alone and by our own means. Most of us are self-taught, so we need to get a lot of work just to get there. So that makes us have like some advantage over other people. So we know how hard it is. We love this because we're putting the work on it, and people that maybe don't do it, maybe for them is like they have it for granted, and for us it's like, hey, we really want it. So that makes us stronger, and that gives us an advantage. And that's what I think that we need to think about when we think like we don't have enough opportunities, or we don't have the industry, or we don't have like the same opportunities that other ones. It's like we have an advantage over the others, and it's like we have to work hard to get there. I don't know. I get your feeling there, man.
Yeah, well, the thing is that nowadays, to be honest, it's very easy to be a self-taught, like especially in
Yeah.
our field. I can't talk for other fields because for our field, what matters is your portfolio in your work. You can just go through the internet and find a lot of resources. And just find your goal and focus on it, and then the hard work over the time is going to pay back. What you need to do is just being um, what do you call it, just keep doing it like on a discipline and not giving up, and just like giving it time, and just keep comparing yourself with your past. Like, I mean, like, keep saving your artworks and keep comparing yourself. Like, let's say I do that even now. I draw, and then like a month after, I come back and take a look at my previous works and say if there's any like good changes, if there's improvements, then over the time it's going to pay back. So you have to be patient and just keep doing it. And like I said, for our major, for what we do for our field, it's easy to get access to tons of information over the internet. If you want to learn about drawing, sculpting, about the softwares, there's like a lot of even free stuff on the internet. You just have to focus on your goal, not get lost, because sometimes you just some of these tools are very attractive, like, but then you get lost. At some points, it happens to all of us. At some points, I wanted to learn about Houdini, and then I've noticed like it's what they call it, like it's a rabbit hole. You get inside of it and you get lost. You get inside of it, but getting back from it, it's just you have to be very lucky to be able
To get out.
to get out of it like safely. So the thing is that you have to focus. It's good to learn softwares. It's good to get amazed by the path and like the complexity of what you're doing, but don't get lost. Nobody cares like how many lines you draw. Like the way that you're doing it is your own technique. The techniques are not what important. What important is the result. And like, I personally have so much respect for classic artists. Like, if after like 500, 600 years, if you look at Bernini's and like, let's see, you see some of these sculptures behind me. like still like they are teaching them in universities, you know, still there are references for
Yeah.
tons of young artists, even like for a master artist. Because the reason that they are valuable is because they put all the correct principles inside of them, you know. So if you learn those principles correctly, and if you learn them properly, then the result of your work is going to be valuable. So uh, like yeah, just be goal oriented. Don't get lost with like all these like tutorials and like there's a lot of softwares, you know, how to do this in Blender, how to do this in Maya and 3D Max, because like there's a lot of softwares that you can do similar things. But you don't forget, you know, that we are a visual artist. At the end of the day, we will make a piece of art that is rendered, you know, or is just a concept artist or whatever that we do, you know. What's important is like how to get there to be able to make a good looking artwork, you know.
Cool, man. I wanted. I'm going to reply that because there's some. You said some particular thing that it's so important and that people get lost a lot. But before that, I want to say hi to Alexander Alvarez. I don't know if this is Alex Alvarez from Nomo. That Alexander Alvarez Incapié says, Crad, thanks for this interview. And Majid, what kind of skills or aspects do you look for when you see someone's portfolio or work? Alexander Alvarez Incapié says also, what kind of skills, art, tool, mastery, experience, etc. is the industry currently looking for? And hi to my girlfriend Maria Paula.
Yeah, hi to all of you. Yeah, the I personally like care about the art itself like more than anything else, you know. Um, but when I say like art is mostly about like drawing, you know, and sculpting, I think like it's like a loop, you know, like you can imagine it as something that they are all related to each other, like 2D drawing, like then digital drawing, then 3D sculpting, then sculpting in clay, you know. It's a loop, you know. You cannot like keep any of them isolated, you know. So the more you learn about the 2D drawing, because there's a lot of like people who are doing amazing 2D drawings, but they don't know what they're doing. You know, I've seen people like do magic stuff with ink pen, you know, and they look amazing. They are hyper realistic, but when you ask them, they have zero information about anatomy. You know, so
Right,
when I say drawing, is a drawing like with deep knowledge about all these stuff that are related to each other. Like you have to draw in 3D. When you sculpt, you have to keep like those information that you have learned from 2D stuff. You know, so you have to care about shapes. You have to care about like volumes. You have to care about like the expressions in them and the feelings in them, you know. So there's these things that you have to keep going back and forward until you get good at them. And the most important part of it, I believe, is drawing and the sculpting, you know. And when you add colors on top of them, you know, these are like layers by layers, they get better and better, you know. So it's if you have a good understanding, good layer of understanding of drawing, and then sculpting, and then adding colors on top of it, then add lighting on top of it. You need to have a good understanding of lighting, how it works, you know. And softwares will do that for you, but having a good background of them helps you to get a better lighting and better understanding of what you're doing. Like they are keep going back and forward. You have to keep feeling those layers until you are able to master them, you know. And like nowadays they are getting easier and easier, you know. Like back in the day, like I remember like making one skin shader in Maya Mental Ray was a disaster, you know, and it makes no sense. You had to connect some nodes,
yeah,
which makes no sense. You had to memorize it, you know. It's like I had no clue what's going on. And for me, I started with Maya. People who were doing it and doing stuff in 3ds Max, they were lucky to have V-Ray back in the day. We didn't have that luxury. And but nowadays with Maya Arnold, with V-Ray, they're like super easy and amazing. Like you just put one light, render it, and the result is like amazing. You don't need to be worried about all those mental ray. What was the name of it? Gamma stuff. And now like nowadays like things are easy, but it's just a matter of like being able to manage them. And if you want to, like I said, if you want to be a good artist, you have to dive deep into those information. If not, you can be a 3D artist like tons of other 3D artists, and you're not gonna pop out. You're not gonna be able to. You can use AI, you can cheat, but you're not going to be a good artist. You're just gonna be uh, a good user. Yeah, that's it.
That's great, man. That's amazing. Yeah, I want to reply that, but before, I wanted to go back. Uh, you said that it's so important that people have a goal, you know, that people
Yeah,
can have a focus. But in this time that I've been working with Crad and I've been doing this, a lot of people and a lot of young artists come to me and say, "Hey, I don't know what to do because I like to draw, I like to do character design, but I also love to do concept art of vehicles, and I also love to do I don't know fashion design, and I also love illustration. And what can I do if I love all of them?" So my advice always is like, hey, take one of them that you really enjoy doing, like that you love the most, and get mastery in that specific field, and don't forget the other ones because you have fun with all of them. But just take one and get at the point that you are feel like super proud, and then you can go with the other one and the other one and the other one, but you cannot start losing focus on all of them. But
yeah,
as you said, it's easy to say to them, have a goal, but how to get that goal, because people want to do everything. And for me, when I was starting, as you said, that wasn't for me. I'm pretty sure there was not a lot of information about character art. There's a lot of, as you said, fluids, a lot of things about VFX, destructions, a lot of this kind of stuff. So for me to get there was like a bit hard because I learned rigging, I learned to do no Houdini, but I learned to do effects in 3ds Max. I learned to do a lot of stuff. And then I decided that I wanted to be character artist because that's what I love to draw, for example. So if I draw characters, I want to create them in 3D, and I want them to see in a video game. But it was me. A lot of people don't know what to do. So what advice would you give them, like, to focus, to find a path that they follow and don't get distracted in the rabbit hole?
yeah. Well, this is very personal. There's some people who know what they want to do in their life. Not me. I got confused in my life. At some points, I wanted to learn about programming. I wanted to learn about like there's a lot of stuff that I wanted to learn about, like working with wood stuff. There's a lot of things that you love to learn. About mechanics. All those things, and but our life is very limited. We our time is very limited. We don't have a life of like 1000 years of life. It's just going to be very limited. Short limit of time that you have to take advantage of it, in the best way as possible. So if you have a goal, and if you have something that you are interested in, you have to find it out. For me personally, art is the most important thing in my life. It's very like it's something that I care about, like and compared to the other interests, like the most. So I really enjoyed about like learning about anatomy and stuff. So my goal was to be a character artist, and so I just feel the gap like over the time. So my goal is to be a character artist. If I learn about rigging, well, good. If I want to learn about the effects that add to my character, like really good. But if you jump like around, like between like, hey, you know what, I want to be a master like rigger. I want to be a master at the doing simulation and stuff. At programming. Yeah, maybe it's possible in like some uh like very like I don't know how to say it in English. Like in like not everyone is going to be able to do that. You know, it's almost impossible to focus unless you focus like unless you spend a lot of your time, most of your time just learning and updating yourself with this knowledge. But if you lose your focus, you know, like it's like filling different different cups with like water. You know, if you just fill one, it's going to be very fast. If you just do the same with 10 cups, it's going to take way longer. You know, so having a goal is going to be way more efficient, and you get once you get there, then you can like decide if you want to learn to fill other cups, you know, and or if you want to learn about other stuff that is going to help you or enjoy it, you know. And because sometimes it's not just about like the profession, you know, sometimes you just want to do something to enjoy it, and nobody is going to avoid you, and that's not good actually. So sometimes just jump around and learn a little bit about rigging, you know, learn a little bit about effects. But for me personally, I'm very goal oriented, and I'm focused on most of my time is about drawing, learning about anatomy all over and over every time I learn something new, you know. And like about foreigners, like when I talk to my to people, to Iranian people, always say the same thing. You know, there are two things that you have to that is like the basic steps uh, for people, the foreigner people. You know, first of all, you have to be good at English. You know, you have to learn English, you know, no matter what. And
So
English
important.
is not going to be it's not your goal, you know, it shouldn't be your goal. You learned English, now you are just like as a child from US or in Europe who is like speaking English in native, you know. So it's not going to make you proud of yourself, like, hey, you know what, I can speak English, or I learned English. This is just a communication tool, you know. So that's the first step. You know, the second thing is that you have to learn to draw no matter what, because even if you want to be a effects artist, still you have to have some knowledge. You don't need to be a master at the drawing, but learning the basics about because what all at the end of the day, what we do is just going to be what you see on a screen, you know. So it's a visual art thing, right? So learning about the drawing is going to help you on this path, you know. So learning about drawing at any level is going to be very beneficial for you. And like there's other things like that you have to learn, like the software and stuff, you know. Those are the basic steps that are going to help everyone, you know. But like I said, for us, for foreigners, like the learning English is critical, is very important. And like drawing is a common language between the whole world, you know. That's like everywhere you go in the world, like red is going to be symbol of like for example, if you talk about like colors in art, red is going to be something that shows the anger, you know, because it's like these are some things that are like related to our like psychological stuff, you know. Like blue makes you uh, feeling peace, you know, like anger, like facial expression is you never go to any part of the world, even if they are disconnected from the world. You don't see them like they are happy and they're angry, you know. They make a happy face and they say, oh, I'm angry, you know. Anger is like comes with like a specific way of facial expressions, you know, or like movement of the hands, you know. So there is like some kind of common language between between humans, you know. So you need to learn that language to be able to make art stuff, you know, to give life to whatever you're making in 3D.
You said a really important point that I wanted to point in the last reply that you said. I learned. I mean, I was doing some research some time ago, and then a lot of books they say that drawing is the fundamental for every single art. You know, like drawing needs, as you said, like people need to learn how to speak. You need to learn how to draw. Is the way that you can communicate. Is the basics of everything. So for me, yeah, I'm really with you with it. And what I tell to all of 3D artists out there is that drawing complements your 3D work, and your 3D work complements your drawing. How? For example, in anatomy that you said, like when you know and you understand and you can draw anatomy is great, and you can see in every single like small detail how it works, and you can draw the line as you want it. Then go to 3D and try to replicate what you draw. Then in 3D you can understand how the volumes work, and you can go there in the you know in the for example, you can understand how this part of the back works, and how this part of the biceps connect with this part. Then you go to drawing and you try to understand what you just did in the sculpting, and you get better. And when you have these two artistic like disciplines complemented, it makes you a better artist. But there's a debate here, because a lot of 3D artists that I know, I mean, it's a few of them that draw, and it's for me, it shouldn't be like that. You should draw, even if you are a 3D artist. But people say to me, "Hey, I'm a 3D artist. I don't draw, and I'm doing great." And I know a lot of great 3D artists that they say to me, "Hey, I don't draw, and I'm good at it." So yeah, I don't know. It's could be a debate, but for me, it's just like you said. Like we need to work in the. It's important to draw. Like even if you do BFX, we have
Yeah,
here.
well, the
Oh my God.
thing is that like I know even like fantastical sculptors that don't know how to draw. Uh, but you know what? Like I said, it depends on your goal. Like I said, when I'm talking about like the mastery of art, I'm talking about these people who are like makes references for years. For like that's my goal, and I want to be that good. You can get into a level, but moving from there is going to be very, very like like it's like when you talk about 3D or like drawing, it's always like this. You move fast to a certain point, but moving from there, making it like raising the bars is going to take forever. The moving is going to be very slowly. uh, so to improve yourself to move from there, you need a lot of knowledges. You need a lot of information, and to if you want to get, like I said, into a certain point, that's fine. You can, like, you don't need to draw. Just to learn about some basics, and you will be there. But from there to there, then that's a different story. You need to draw. There's no escape from it. And yeah, like I said, you have mentioned it. When we talk about drawing, it's not just drawing, copying. We are talking about analytical drawing. You have to analyze things, draw it. And to be honest, when I look at we all have like tons of books as references, tons of PDF, tons of videos. uh like there's a lot of resources out there, but none of them are perfect. Like for example, Andrew Loomis is amazing, but when you compare it to other artists, you'll see that he was like an illustrator, and he was doing it like perfectly. I really love his works. But if you want to learn from him and do it in 3D, you will see some flaws. There's some parts that are not going to be applicable to 3D art. So you have to find your information from different
Sources.
resources. Yeah, I'm personally like keep improving myself, and I hope at some point being able to make some courses for people who like and share my knowledge. And there's a lot of secrets that like people like us are facing to it. Because what we are doing is like translating 2D stuff into the 3D world and being able to use them in our field. This is something that there's not a lot of resources for that. When people teach drawing, it's for 2D art. When people teach 3D, it's just for 3D isolated. Connecting all of them together is something that I haven't found any good resources for it. And because I feel the lack of it, I have decided to make some online courses. Hopefully, in the future, I will be able to do them. Yeah, I had some requests to do like mentoring online, but I'm planning to make uh, a very what do you call it, something that is very very like useful for people like myself when I go like 15 years ago myself, to guide them through to say, hey, you know what, this is the path, learn this, then connect the dots, here we go, and I have tried it with my I have a 14 years 13 14 years nephew that I teach him, and you can't believe it, in a very short time they can draw figures like people who are like doing it for years, and so if you understand all those principles and then deliver them to your audiences, they are going to be able like to get to that point that they are looking for way faster, yeah, and that's what I'm hoping to do at some point.
That's great, man. That's great, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people would be learning a lot from you because yeah, I feel really a lot. I mean, really identified with you because I can I can see people that they're doing this just for because this is a job, no. But I don't feel just like that. I want to get better. I want to get better, improve, improve, improve. It's my passion, and I want to go there and learn and draw. And if I want to look a book and I don't know, learn more and try to raise the bar, as you said, that's what I want to do. And yeah, it's really inspiring what you are saying right now, man. So that's great. We have another question from Alexander Alvarez in Capié. He says, in your opinion, what is needed to reach the level of digital art that you have achieved? Well, you have answered part of it, but yeah, what is needed to reach the level of digital art that you have achieved?
Well, I already answered it. Even now, if you follow me on Instagram, you see that I do a lot of drawings, and I don't want to fool myself. I can draw well, Even like 10 years ago, myself, you can see my some of my drawings I have shared online. I can present well, but I don't want to lie to myself. My drawing is not good as what I'm looking for. What I'm trying to get. Even after like I said, 600 years, 500 years, when you look at like Da Vinci or Michelangelo, Bernini, all those Robens, all those masters, when you look at their artworks, still you can print them and put it in as a decoration, and still you enjoy it. They are, even their sketches are artworks, and what makes them valuable is the knowledge behind them and the mastery of being able to handle all those lines. Each line carries a lot of information. Uh, so to get there, you have to keep your discipline of learning, practicing. It's two parts: science and skills. For us, that's what matters. It's like a football player. I can shoot a ball. I know the knowledge behind it, but become a Messi is going to be like years of practicing and like effort, and to be able to shoot the way that he is shooting it. So for us, it's the same. Like you need to learn the science. Once you have learned it, it's not going to be useful unless you apply it to your artwork by practicing. And just coming back to what you said before about, a part of the truth is that like a part of our work is is a job. I want to make money and live a happy life. Sometimes you get life gets complicated. You need money, and to earn money you need to have a good job. So for me, like just having a job is a part of it, and as you have mentioned it, a part of it is my passion. I don't really, even if you put me isolated in an island, still I the first thing I do probably after like finding food to survive, it would be finding some paper to draw, because it makes me feel. It's a philosophy of your life. You have to find it for yourself. For me, it helps me to feel good in my life. To feel easy and chill. It makes me feel happy. The more I learn, the better I get, and I try to deliver that to other people. And like the more you learn those, it's a language of observation. You know, drawing is a language of observation. The more you observe, the more you learn from the world. You know, the faster you learn to you observe. You know, like like for example, if you as good as Kim Jong Il, you know, you remember, well,
Yeah.
he passed away, rest in peace. You know, if you as good as him, he goes to a room and then he observed the entire room and he comes back and draw it. You know, we are not as good as him, but it's still, you know, you can slowly like observe more and more, and the more information you get, knowledge is power. You know, you can be a better person um, in a good way. You know.
That's great, man. That's great. Yeah, you've said a lot of lessons for people here, and that's pretty good. Uh, I wanted to ask you, what what do you think are like the most challenges that you have faced in this world of CG? You know?
Yeah, well, working in the industry is sometimes is very tricky. You know, like you kill yourself, you try hard, and to get to break into the industry, and then you face a lot of like what you call unexpected stuff. You know, like there's a lot of injustice. You know, a lot of things that you have to expect them. You know, like it's not the perfect world that we're living in. You know, there's a lot of like stupid stuff going on. We as human make mistakes, you know, and life is not as what you expect in overall. You know, you have to expect a lot of things happen on your way. You know, there's a lot of challenges that you face. You know, you go to work for a studio that is amazing, and then it burns your passion. You know, there are some studios that I don't want to mention that was very proud to work with them, and then like you have to work like long hours until 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and then you say, damn, like what about my personal life? You know,
Yeah.
I'm not here to sacrifice myself for you to make money. You know, I'm an artist. I have value for myself. I expect studios to respect their employees. You know, um, and like hopefully, unfortunately, a lot of people like myself, like yourself, that who experience these things, start their own studios, and then like it's getting better, you know. But I mean, like there's stuff like that, you know, and that you have to expect them. But like I said again, you know, there's a lot of new studios. You nowadays you don't really need to move around to work in house in the studios, especially after the breakdown. You know, studios learned that they can work remotely, you know, and yeah, there's a lot of challenges like that.
What do you think about um, technical stuff for character artists, for example? What do you think about learn? How technical should they need to be to get into the industry nowadays? Why do I ask? Because I love art and I want to be like a master, as you said, in art, and I want to improve, improve, improve. But at the same point, the industry requires you as a character artist to learn some technical stuff and to be aware that it's not just art, but it's also a lot of learning engines, learning how to use the engines, learning how to control your character in the engine and stuff. The projects also requires you a lot of knowledge, technical knowledge. I'm asking you in a game developer uh, position as an artist, but I'm pretty sure that for VFX and for animation and for different industries is the same. They all of them require a technical part or technical knowledge of from you. What do you think about it? How important it is?
Well, to be honest, I think we three artists we have a very complicated job to do. You know, like seriously, like when I look at like all the softwares that we have to learn to be able to create a character, it's like scary, man. And it's not like okay, I have learned Maya. You have to learn new features every time they are getting updated, and every time a new tool is getting changed. Like sorry, my ears got painful. Like for example, like Marvelous Designer was not a software back then. Like 10 years ago, there was no such a thing. And all of a sudden, it became like a standard in the workflow. So you have to learn it. Or other stuff like working with 3D scans, or like what is that, the Substance Painter. There's a lot of software that you have to learn Mari, learn and like all these engines that they are keep changing and improving. Like if you want to if you want to work in the game industry, you have to learn the real-time engines and the idea behind them. There's some studios that there was a studio. I don't want to mention any name.
Don't worry.
But there was this studio that they invited me, and they said they are still using what was then a Softimage XSI. They said we are still using that software, and we are using some in-house game engine. And I asked them, why do you don't use the Unreal Engine? Because after version 5, it's like a revolutionary change. They have added a lot of cool stuff to it, and you don't need engine, any other engine to work with. Uh, so they said there's like some politics in our studios going on, and so I don't want to work for that studio because it's just waste of time for me. I don't want to learn exercise something that is like outdated and nobody is using it. But it's still like, still there's studios are doing those kind of things. So every studio that have their own specific workflow that you have to learn. And like like I said, like if you are 2D concept artist, it's just Photoshop and art. You just it's as fancy as that. I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's in compared to 3D art is way easier. Because now we have to learn Blender. I look around and see a lot of people are working with Blender. I didn't find time to learn it, to be honest. But I see people are doing really cool stuff and fast and free with Blender. And like I got tired, to be honest. Uh, I don't want to like the rest of my life just keep jumping around between all these things. But we have to. So when it comes to the technical stuff, it's really depends on the job that you are going to do and the studio that you are working with. You have to be flexible. But keep in mind, if you learn the concept behind it, like for example, when I learned the Unreal Engine, it's very very similar um, to Arnold. Because they are the way that they are behaving with the material, the way that the
Yeah.
material works is very similar. You learn the basics. Do you understand them? It's not just about if you copy them, you are gonna get lost. Every time you have to learn something new. But if you learn the concept behind them, then it's going to be easier. Hey, you know what? It's about the reflection. It's about like the roughness. It's about the specularity. Once you learn all those basic stuff, it's about like the subsurface stuff, how the skin works. You learn the layers of the skin, how the light goes through the translucency stuff. Once you learn those, then you understand the language. Then it's easier to switch between technical softwares. And yeah, but like again, it's difficult, to be honest. It's not fair. Sometimes I wish it was easier, but yeah, it's a part of our job. You have to be flexible.
I get you, man. I get you in the
Yeah.
feeling of it's not fair because I mean, you apply for a character art job and it's like 6, 7 softwares that you need to know just to get there, and after that, it's more engine and it's more technical stuff, and it's like a bounce of a lot of things that you need to be there, plus anatomy knowledge, plus be able to draw, plus understanding design, understanding color. I mean, sometimes we have it for granted, but it's like we know a lot of things that that some people don't understand how hard it is to know storytelling as well. So it's great. Um, yeah, I mean, I was there in a talk some times ago in the Trojan Horse Was a Unicorn with the artist Serge Bigot, and he said like character artists we are magicians, and yeah, he said that like he does concept art and he put it to the artist, and the 3D artist with a lot of stuff they create like a 3D and stuff, and he was like all of 3D artists are magicians, and yeah, I think he's right. Um, we have a
Yeah,
question
exactly.
here from Simon Sarmiento. He's a character artist from Colombia as well. He's working now, I think, in England. So he says, what Majid was talking earlier about the industry truly breaks the magic. Having to face all of that, what do you think is a key to keep your artistic motivation in the middle of all this situation we face in the industry?
Well, that's a good question, but it's like uh, sometimes I lose my passion. You have to understand you have to have a philosophy. Because we are all humans. We go up and down. Um, I remember like back in the day it was even like harder for me. Sometimes I say, "Fuck, that's sorry about that." I mean, so what? Damn, like, what kind of job was that I picked? To my life. For my life, it's very difficult and it's very challenging. I was going to give up like so many times. But what keeps you up is like just keep looking at like other artists' works, over the internet, and like don't forget about like the classical art. When I look at like every time I have a free time, there's some artists that I really admire their works, like Fechin, Nikolai Fechin, a Russian artist, Ilya Repin, a fantastic painter and artist with amazing drawings. There's some artists like classical artists like Michelangelo, Bernini, Rubens. When you look at those artworks, for me as a character artist, it keeps me up, and makes it gives me motivation, And there's a lot of artists that I can't that I don't have in the back of my mind right now, but if you just Google them, it just keep taking you through like different artists' artworks and looking at their artworks. Again, this this man over here, this is a sculpture, have been used by a lot of. It's wrote that I think it's by I forgot the name of the artist who did this. I forgot it, but I mean, like he have a few artworks that are amazing, and they have been used as a reference for years. If you get to that point, then that's it's keeps that then you enjoy your life. I think you draw well. Every artworks of you is going to be every drawing of you is going to be an artwork, and like it's enjoyable. It's about the joy of your life. And if you enjoy it, then that's good. You are guaranteed to get good over the time. And if you don't enjoy it, then still find a way to make it fun for you. Watch tutorials, look at books. And yeah, don't get proud of yourself. You always to have looked down at yourself. You say, hey, I'm here. I believe me, I criticize myself like in a harsh way, and look at my artworks and say, "Damn, you are not a good artist." Look at like all these like good artists out there. You have to improve yourself. So how to improve yourself? It's again, it's the same loop. Drawing, practicing, sculpting. Going keep back and forward. And when you see the improvement, then you will enjoy it more and more.
Awesome, man. Awesome. You said something so important, and I always say this. I mean, at the beginning when I started in this journey, I looked up for your work. You know, it was like 2014, 2015. I was looking up for Alessandro Baldasseroni. It was starting some artworks from Rossetti. Uh,
Good friend of mine.
who?
Both of them.
Cool, man. That's amazing.
Uh,
Um, I have this memory with Alessandro because
yeah.
I met him back in 2014. It was the first time I went to the art event, the Crad Fest, and I met him. I went there just because he was going to be there, and I met him. And I met him like 3 years ago, before after that in the Cebu Summit. He wasn't intended to be there, but he was like chilling out there, and I just go to there and like, hey man, how are you? And he remembered my name. You know, we were talking
Oh,
about
nice.
sometime, and I talked to him like, hey, I don't know how to get into the industry. I can't. I haven't, and I feel anxious, and I feel like it's been hard, and I don't know how to do it. And he said to me, I know that you have improved because I have followed your work, and just keep doing this because you enjoy it. Don't do it this because of the job. Don't do this because of the work. Don't do it because you want to get into the industry. Just keep doing this because you enjoy it. And for me, these two things, like first of all, that I met him and he reminded my name, and he said like he was looking for my work and I have improved. But when he said keep doing this because you enjoy it, this changed like my mindset. You know, like my mind. Like is if I keep doing this because I love it, because it's my passion, because I work hard to get better as an artist, not to get a job, because I want to improve, and I keep doing this, you said, because this relaxes me and this is good for me. Anytime and eventually, I'm going to get better, and if I get better, it's more chance that I can get hired. But if I work with the anxiety of the industry, with the anxiety of getting to the industry of the job, the work, and the company is going to look at me, it's harder for me to enjoy this. It's harder to me for me to get the time to do this, and it's going to be harder for me to get into the industry. So yeah, I understand. There's a lot. I mean, for me, it was like some time ago. I was fired because all of this shit of the industry, and the way was to get better, man. You know, like just keep working, keep hard, use this time for you to improve yourself, to get better, to learn, to do portfolio work, and don't do it just because you want to get a job. Do it because you enjoy it. You know, like just complementing what you said. I think if you enjoy what you do, is the chances is better that you keep inspired and you can get a job in the future. So yeah,
Yeah, that's true. I totally agree with him. Like I said, Alessandro is a very good friend of mine. We met a few times back in LA, and yeah, like I look up to him. He's a really good artist, and I totally agree with him. If it's about the passion, but unfortunately, sometimes, like I mentioned, the it's getting less. But there was some studios that used that passion of artists. Hey, you love it, then come here. We use you, and that's evil. But overall, for yourself, you shouldn't like pay attention to those things because you're not going to um, like to work for like any specific studio for the rest of your life. Even if there's studios like that, just it's sometimes there's some studios that are good to just get like they have a lot of experiences, and just working with them is going to be experience for you as well. So like over the time, just if it's your passion, just try to keep that passion up. Just enjoy it. And yeah, I totally agree with that.
by the way, by the way, Alessandro was one of the guys that told me that he doesn't draw.
Does
He
what?
he told me that he doesn't draw. Alessandro.
Uh huh.
And he's a 3D artist, and he's a really good 3D artist. So he
Yeah,
is
yeah,
one of the cases that I was telling, that some great artists don't draw, but they do a
yeah,
lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
great 3D. Like yeah, it's hard to understand, but it happens.
Well, it depends on your preferences. I personally believe, like I said, there's a lot of like fantastic even sculptors who don't draw, you know. But for me, I have a goal, and like it's something that helps me personally to get better at what I'm doing, and I enjoy it, you know. I admire other artists' works, you know, and this is my preference, you know. These are my suggestions, you know. You can take my advice or just do whatever you want. If you achieve your goal, then good for you. You know,
Yeah,
it might not be a must, you know, but these are my personal experiences and personal advices, you know. So just listen to them. Yeah, I'm not going to force you to draw. You know, hey, you have to draw. You know, yeah.
yeah. I,
Well, it's up to you, you know. But looking at the history of art, you know, drawing was always critical to become a good sculptor. And the thing is that like um, the more I draw, you know, the faster I become to sculpt, you know, because you remember like the muscles that you have mentioned are very complicated, and to memorize them, you need strong muscle memory. And to get those muscle memories, it's like working out, you know, and getting stronger at that. You know?
yeah, yeah. You're totally right. And yeah, for example, I know a lot of muscles now, and I know the shapes, and I know the how they insert, and I know a lot of things. But there's a couple of muscles that I cannot learn, you know, and you need to learn, and you need to read again and again and again
What?
and
Which
again.
muscles?
To be honest, there's one in the hip, here in the hip, like
Yeah, 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 I know, like
I
those on the side. Oh,
yeah, I don't know. I always draw and I always forget. And even I
yeah,
have
they are.
studied it, always
Yeah,
forget
they
how
are.
it works. You know?
There's some muscles that are very complicated. That like it takes years to like the muscles around this area are very complicated. The muscles on the back here, you know, the what happens around here,
Yeah, in the
around the
clavicle
hips,
and the
around the knees, like in general, like around the joints where they are like meeting each other, like mixing with bones. They are complicated because it's not just in like they move around. You know, the like the hip like can move like this, you know, and that, you know. It's like they are complicated. You know, that's why like I said, you know, to be able to draw them and understand them. Like when I say drawing, it's not just about drawing. You know, you have to
understand.
draw like Bridgman, you know, when you look at his drawing, with a few lines he draw a pose, you know, with like which is like kind of showing all the muscles and like expression of the body, you know. Believe me, even copying Bridgman's drawings is difficult, you know, because like some of his simplified poses, I try to copy them, but it's very, very difficult because like those lines took him years to be able to like he draw one line and it's like that line is what do you call it, indicating, I think indicating a lot of like things around that area, you know. And yeah, so yeah, again, I'm very strong on learning on being a good like learning the drawing is going to be like very, very, very important for sculpting, you know. And like I said, you know, they are like this, you
Yeah,
know, drawing and
complemented.
drawing, sculpting. Yeah, they complete each other. It's not like going to when I say drawing, just doing this is not going to be helpful. Sculpting like this, you know. But when you put them together, complete each other, you know, and try to like draw in 3D, you know, and memorize
Yeah,
things that you have learned, you know. Yeah, that's
that's
it.
that's great, man. I don't know if you have some more time. I have a lot of questions for you this moment, but um,
Yeah, well, we can spend like another 10, 15 minutes. I have to go out, things to do.
cool, man.
Yeah,
That's
I
great.
wish I had more time to be here and talk the whole day. It's fun, you know, to talk about these things, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I have one of the questions is related to what you just said. I mean,
yeah,
just you need to go out, and that's it. Like
yeah,
when I was starting, for me it was I mean, as I told you, I was self-taught in 3D. I was I needed like desperately to learn more and to get better. That's why I went to the Trojan horse and I have kept doing it because it makes me better. But at some point, I was doing so much work and art and learn and practice that my balance between life and work was not there. I mean, at
Yeah.
the beginning, I was just working hard. I mean, I was studying, I was working. Then I came back to home to keep working until 2, 3 a.m. in the morning every day because that's the way I learned, you know. But when there's a point that you understand that you should have had a better balance between life and work. How do you manage to balance this? How important it is for you to balance life and work?
Well, probably I'm not the right person to ask that question because I never found the balance. Uh, I think you have to sacrifice. If you want to be good at something, like any other professional, whatever, you need to sacrifice. Like if you look at like bodybuilders, they sacrifice they sacrifice their health to become an icon. Like Arnold lost his kidneys. Like there's a lot of what was his name that um what was his name that the black guy with big
Ronnie,
muscles, Ronnie Coleman. Yeah,
Ronnie
Ronnie
Coleman.
Coleman. Yeah, now he's on a wheelchair, but still he's enjoying what he's doing. But you don't want to be that. You don't want to be on wheelchair. But for me personally, there was a part of my life that was completely sacrificed to learn what I want to learn. I think at some points in your life you need to do that. Like a few years of your life has have to be sacrificed. And there's no escape from it. But unless you will find the balance in your life. If you find the balance in your life, it's always like a triangle. Like you. I don't know how to draw it here. This is a triangle. If you make this edge bigger, the other one is going to get smaller. Make the other edge bigger, the other one
Yeah,
is going to get smaller. It's like they are related. And you want to be a professional, you will lose other angles. If you want to be like find the balance, be a good artist, good like human being, and good. I don't know, like doing like casual stuff in your life. Then you might reach your goal later. But you enjoy your life. It's a really personal thing, but you have to understand the philosophy of life. Again, our life is limited. What do you want to do with what do you want to do with your life? If you want to be a professional, does that worth it for you to like sacrifice some stuff in your life? And like yeah, does yeah, like when I moved to America, um I left my mom back home, but I had no choice. My life, a part of my life personally was how to say it in English. It was by force. It was it wasn't by choice.
okay.
Sometimes life is cruel. Makes you to choose. It doesn't let you choose, and it makes you choose one path. This is your only way to go. So I had to go to the U.S. I had to work because I needed money. And I loved it. I had to like spend more hours to be able to use my time to grow, to get better. So my life was under pressure, and I lost my chance to meet my mom before she getting passed away.
Yeah,
So that's one of the regrets that I have in my life. But I didn't have a choice. I had to move to the U.S. and I lost her when I was in Blair Studio. And I didn't have time to go visit her. And
hard.
still it's in my mind. I wish I go back and visit her, but do I have a choice? No. So, like I said, sometimes life is cruel, but if you have options to choose, then good. Then think about all these limitations of your life. You're not gonna be young forever. You have limitation. The time, the overall every day is 24 hours. You're gonna sleep at least 8 hours, like 6 to 8 hours of it, right? The rest of it is going to be a part of it is going to be like with eating and like other stuff, resting. And so the time that you have to learn and achieve is very limited. And how to manage it, for me, my suggestion is that to first understand it, then choose what you want to do. Don't do it like by randomly. Yeah. So I mean, like, it's really, it's a very relative question. It depends on a lot of things. And yeah, but now at this time of my life, at this point of my life, I try to find a balance. I say, okay, there's some time for my family, especially after the breakdown. Went through a hard time being isolated in the US, working remotely for companies. And so I admire my relation way more, and I understand the value of these relationships way more than before. I enjoy like spending time with my family, with my friends. And yeah, so that's it. It really depends on you and your philosophy of life.
That's great, man. Yeah. At some point we need it, but yeah, it's also for me important to say that people need to be aware that their health is important as well. Sometimes we don't sleep, but
Yeah,
it's important to for you to be healthy. Yeah. That. But yeah, what you said is it's so good. Um, just to finish, I don't want to take you more of your time, man.
yeah, sure.
Um, yeah, there's a particular question that I wanted to ask you, but it takes time. So I'm probably from Instagram. I will ask you
Yeah, it's
later.
okay. Go ahead and ask it. I'll try to answer it and wrap it up very quickly.
Cool. Yeah, just saying thank you very much, man, for being here with us in this Crowd Live. It was by far one of the best Crowd Lives that we have had. Um, I mean, I invite you to check more Crowd Lives because I hope to have a lot of great guests as well. Hopefully soon, Gio Nakpil will be with us. Next week we'll have David Mason. He's a designer. He's worked for Deadpool and a lot of great franchises. So yeah, a lot of people is going to be here. But thank you very much for being in this session with us, Majid. For me, it's really inspiring to have heard your thoughts about art and the industry. And as I told you, you've been an inspiration for me since my beginnings 10 years ago, and you keep doing it great. I mean, it's great that I saw you back in the social media because I haven't. It's like 4 years that I didn't get to hear from a lot from you. Then you come back with a lot of great anatomy studies, anatomy poses, characters, and that's amazing, man. You keep inspiring me and inspiring a lot of artists around the world. Uh, Keep pushing. That's amazing. I hope that you can reach the level that you want. Um, yeah, man. Anytime that you would like to talk again in this space is yours. So just let me know, man. Thank you very much again for joining us.
Yeah, sure. It was a pleasure to be here with you and people who were interested in this talk. And thank you so much for your kind words. I'm trying so hard to get to a level that I'm like aiming, but I do my best. Whatever happens happens. I never give up on the studies. Uh, I always say that. Michelangelo at his 80s says that I'm still learning. So who am I to say, hey, you know what, I'm mastering it? It never ends. Learning is an on what do you call it, an infinite goal. So just keep yourself updated and try to enjoy it, and hopefully I'm very happy when you say that it was inspiring for people, because I always do my best to like share my knowledge with other people. what I'm learning. I try to share it online with other people, and that's very complimenting for me. And yeah, hopefully in the future I would be able to do some online courses and share my knowledge deeply with people, especially like about anatomy and like connecting drawing to 3D. These things are like, when we talk about it, it's just the concept, but in action is a totally different thing, and hopefully I will be able to share those knowledge in the future.
Awesome, man. Um, Thank you very much as well for all the people that join us. Maria Paula, my girlfriend, Alessandro Nuki, Alexander Alvarez Incapié, Simon Sarmiento that also was there chatting with us. Thank you very much for all of you guys, and this is going to be there out there in YouTube, so all of you can check it out. Follow Crad for more stuff in Instagram and YouTube. And Majid, it was a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us, and all of you guys, bye bye.
All right, bye bye, take care.
Take care, take care.